This week on The Tester, I mean, King of the Nerds. So you remember last week, Hendrik was off. He did a nerd off with John with the chess playing, and he lost. The first thing we really get to see, they all trip outside to go talk to the hosts, and the hosts are dressed up like a geisha and a samurai. Yes, the guy with the beard is dressed up like a geisha because that's very funny. The name of the game is cosplay. The teams have to create their own world and characters in them and then present them to a panel of guest judges. The orange team, they were set to be villains set in the fantasy world, and the blue team, heroes in the sci-fi world. So for the orange team, Ivan is pretty much the leader, so he develops the main story for their fantasy little play thing that they're going to do. They let him because, you know, he has a lot of experience, I guess, making tabletop games. In the blue, they decided to go steampunk, and Genevieve is pretty much in charge. She's pretty much the leader. And then, you know, they do some shots of them creating stuff, and now I gotta say, Mugega looked pretty cool. She was in charge of the power tools, and she looked pretty neato. The blue team, they're just kind of everywhere. They're not very organized. It's kind of like, remember in the tester, and then they had to do the things where they made video game characters? Kind of like that. Virgil, he decides to go raid the Radio Shack room. It's called the Radio Shack room. He takes pretty much all the useful stuff out of it. And Brandon, oh, he's on the orange team. He is not happy about that. And he pretty much called him a douche and saying that it was a dickish move. And, you know, it was good strategy-wise, but just as a person, it was a dickish move. And then we're blessed with a commercial break. And when we come back, oh, there is Ivan, half naked, painted red. Oh, nightmares. Then we also see Virgil in a silver bodysuit. It's quite revealing. So Alana, she is very unhappy with Virgil. She does not like Virgil. And she pretty much lays into him because he kept fooling around with the orange team going over there, oh, Brandon, why are you calling me a dick? Blah, 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 blah. And not paying attention to the team. And that's about it. So everyone, they're all done with the costumes. They all go down outside. You can notice that Danielle is half naked. The orange team, they have chose a new name, and it also goes along with a cosplay thing. They're called the Servants of the Forsaken Orb. And the blue team is Blue Trophy. We're introduced to the guest judges. There is Adam Bush, who was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He ends up getting his skin ripped off in that series. That was nice because I really don't like that guy. And then there's Yaya Han. She's a cosplayer, and she comes out cosplaying as Chun-Li, and it looks quite nice. And Brandon was quite excited about it too. And then of course there's George Takei. He comes out, and oh, you know, they're having nerdgasm moment, and we get to see Ivan have a nerdgasm, and it's kind of disturbing. The blue team goes first. Gosh, their characters are kind of just everywhere. I just jotted down some quick things about each one. Lana, she's speaking in a strange accent. I wasn't sure what it was supposed to be. It was kind of German, but then kind of not. No, it's more like, I don't know, like some Norwegian, like, we're going to call it yeah, you know, that kind of thing. And then she has a special talent of bullet real time. And then she does like some weird Matrix moves. Well, he looks kind of awkward because, you know. And then there's John. You can't really understand what he's saying. He has a gas mask looking thing over his face, and it has a voice changer in it. So you couldn't really understand what he was saying. And then Genevieve comes on, and she's singing, and she's kind of singing in a cutesy-wootsy voice. It was like kind of Betty Boop-ish, only not quite as nice as Betty Boop. It was like bordering between Betty Boop and that Tiny Tina character in Borderlands 2. Celeste, she has a huge Rubik's Cube on her back. And okay, and then but she also has two sides to her character, and like one of them speaks in like this really deep voice, and it was like kind of sexy. I kind of liked it. And then there's Virgil, and he's like this silver robot, of course, and his outfit is completely falling apart. And then we got the other team, and Brandon's like this sorcerer dude in a cloak with the skull mask, and Mugega, she's like the Shadow Raven character. She's like a priestess or something, and she's kind of showing some skin. It's kind of nice, but still, you know, not too showy. And then, of course, you know, there's Danielle, and she's half naked, but, you know, I have to give it to her. Her outfit did look quite colorful, even though she was supposed to be like an evil priestess. So, and then it was Mugega that was later turned into the evil priest. I'm not sure. Josh, he's an assassin, and he ends up killing Danielle's character when he introduces himself. And then there's Ivan. And Ivan, I have to hand it to him. He's on stilts for his character. He's like this old god that they resurrect. So he's painted red, and he has drawn on muscles on his stomach. And he has pierced nipples. Maybe. I think they're fake. But they're quite large, and, you know, they really draw the attention to the chest. Which is, you know, because he's kind of skinny fat, only more fat. But anyway, he was on stilts, and props to him, and he had this fire sword thing that, you know, and he lit on fire, and he was waving around, so that was pretty neat. So, you know, alright, Ivan, that was cool-ish. So the orange team wins, because they were more cohesive, and their story went well, and their outfits kind of, you know, looked like they actually went together, and they get rewarded with they get to train with a weapons mistress. And then the next shot is Lana gets the rest of her team alone, minus Virgil, she sends him off to get her a Mountain Dew. So they're all sitting there, right, and she's got her feet kicked up, you know, she's relaxing and maxing all cool, and she's just like, that's Virgil, can you give me a Mountain Dew? And then he goes, yeah, sure. And he goes to get her a Mountain Dew. You know, that's nice. And then while he's gone getting her a Mountain Dew, she's saying, you know, that she thinks he should go to the Nerd Off. And then they show the orange team, or I should say Team Secrets of the Forsaken Orb, because like their team names are changed now. And they're training, I don't know, they're dressing up in armor, and they're kind of just play fighting with each other. And then they get a mighty feast of Little Caesars, the shittiest pizza ever. And so they're all numbing and talking about who they're going to send to the Nerd Off. And Danielle lets it known that she wants Genevieve to go because that would be best for her. I mean, obviously she didn't say, oh, that would be best for me in front of everyone, but that's what she said to the camera. And so then we're treated with more and more shots of the throne of games. See, it's a play on Game of Thrones. It's the chair thing with stuff hot glued on it. And then it is decided Alana is going to the Nerd Off. Her team votes for her instead of Virgil. And then the other team votes for John to go to the Nerd Off again. Poor John. It's going to be some kind of trivia Nerd Off. So Alana's crying for a bit. You know, she's crying. And Genevieve, you know, she's lying down on the bed, and she's kind of got her stomach showing. And, you know, she's saying, oh, you know, I was just trying to be objective. It wasn't anything personal. And then Alana, she keeps crying. Alana goes to Danielle for help. Danielle is more than happy to help because she wants to help the weak player win. That's what she said. And then they all go outside again. The hosts are wearing fedoras. The name of the game was, they're going to be asked questions. If they get a right one, they get to bowl with a 20-sided die down a hill towards a bunch of mannequins and garden gnomes for points. Each one is worth a different amount of points. Long story short, John loses. Lana wins by 100 points, 1900 to 1800, I believe. She was losing for a while, but then she just got like really lucky, and she got a shit ton of points. And this show's getting awkward. I've left out so much stuff about strange, spazzy, dorky things they're saying. Why am I clapping? John is leaving. He laments that he is not going to get any more free beer. And remember how Hendrik had lasers pew-pewed at him for the animation? He gets a giant rock, you know, because he's into rock and roll. And he was always going, whoo. Okay, it didn't sound like that, but it was, you know, similar, not really. What was our choice last time? We said Alana or Virgil would go. I wasn't right again, but I was kind of right again because I had said that, you know, it would be Alana or Virgil because they're showing them so much. And it was down to Alana or Virgil from the team. They were voting for them to go to the Nerd Off. But, you know, I have to hand it to Alana, though. She did get all of her trivia questions right, and John did miss one. So who do we think will go? I don't know. I think the blue team will finally lose a game, maybe. But apparently the next episode is going to be video game themed. So I'm going to put Droopy Eyed Joshua because he was shown a lot. So put Droopy Eyed Joshua. So here you go. Hold on to this. So tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel for more King of the Nerds. Do.